Welcome to Mor-In the Know podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin, Vice President and Co-Founder of Fueled Supplements, as well as Sobriety, Woke Business, and Wellness Coach. Mor-In the Know delivers an array of content based on marketing, health and fitness, personal branding, addiction, and often goes down the rabbit hole of politics, conspiracy, and the truth. If you seek to better understand the inner workings of human performance, consciousness, business, and humanity, you've come to the right place. Thank you for tuning in and tagging along. Let's get today's podcast started. Welcome to the very first inaugural Mor-In the Know podcast. I am joined by special guest Patty the Ginge, better known as Patrick the Ginger. How are you doing today, Patrick?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. This is the initial podcast. We just spent the last hour and a half trying to figure out this damn thing, and I'm grateful to have you over here so we can have you on this podcast and shoot the shit for some time, man.
You already know, bro. I appreciate y'all for having me over, for real.
And it's crazy because, I'm always telling people, if you have something on your to-do list, especially during this time right now, it's crazy times. I'm sure you can attest to that. It's crazy times, but I feel since we're quarantined, we're in our homes, there's a lot of things that we should have on a to-do list that we should be doing. And I feel that this is one of them that I've been putting off, and this has been sitting in my living room now for about 3 months. So
hey, well, you got it going.
Hey, well, it's up and running, and we're rocking and rolling. So just so the listeners can understand a little bit who we are chatting or who I'm chatting with, tell them a little bit about yourself, what you do. You're a singer-songwriter, up-and-comer here in the Phoenix Valley, but your music, man, is very inspirational. It gives a lot of hope to people. Kind of fill them in on who you are and what your purpose is.
So, my name is Patrick the Ginger. My purpose is, I make music that if you could live by, it'll change your life. A lot of the music nowadays is inspiring the youth and the people, in the world to do bad things and just, it just takes over their whole life. So I'm trying to make music that, if they can take that into account in their life, it'll actually change their life. And so that's really my mission. And you know what I mean? I was born in Washington. I've been out here my whole life pretty much. And, I'm putting in this work. I'm finally getting this done.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan for the last year now of yours.
Appreciate that.
And obviously our connection between us two is a good friend, my best friend, Valiant Rouser. So shout out to Val. And it's kind of funny, dude, honestly, how the whole situation even happened. Val was working at Intel.
Yeah.
And so he would come back and he would tell me about this guy that was working for Intel. But he didn't. So we'll even go back further before he even started talking about you. So he's talking about this guy who's working at Intel. And he was saying, man, there's this guy. He literally won't do his job. He's pretty lazy. He's super lazy, this and that. And he goes, and he'd come back home and tell me about this man every single day, all the time. And he goes, dude, you'll never get this. He goes, the guy who just got fired, the guy that got hired in his position has been kicking it with the dude's sister that got fired. Now, is this true?
Bro, it's a small world, bro. And it's crazy because this girl, me and her were living together at the West 6 for a while. And, I told her I was going to get a job there. And until the night that I got home, she was like, oh, yeah, I think my brother works there. And I'm like, no way. And, yeah, bro, it's crazy. It turned out to be her brother. And it's like.
Yeah, so you took her brother's job.
Pretty much. He just didn't really work.
Yeah, he wasn't doing his job, obviously. That's why he got fired.
Yeah, yeah. So
then, on top of that, Val then had a new person to talk about, and that new person has red hair, and Val would come back and tell me about this guy, Patrick, and he's like, man, there's this guy who's a SoundCloud rapper, kind of at first, man, he was kind of throwing some shade, making fun,
well, yeah,
and he kept saying, that you were somebody who kept saying that you got big dreams, goals, and aspirations, as do most people, as do a lot of singers and songwriters. But
yeah.
I mean, you could probably attest that majority of people are full of shit.
They are.
And lack of action.
Exactly. Not only that, but lack of just anything.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I used to be the person who just talked about it. And, I made a song called Quit Wasting Your Time. And, it says, quit wasting your time, start chasing your dreams, because everything in front is not what it seems. People act a certain way for the fact that you rap and believe, but when you turn around, they step back and watch you drown in your sleep. And in that song, I basically talk about, you know what I mean? Separate yourself from what's wasting your time.
Right.
Separation from what's wasting your time.
Right.
That's what the song's called.
That's awesome. And here we are, a year later, after Val initially started to talk about you, and we're sitting on my couch doing the very first More in the Know podcast, man. Tell me how big of a trip that is to you.
Bro, it's a mindfuck.
Right.
Because, like, bro, we've been talking about stuff for a long time, and now we're actually getting all this stuff done. And that's what I'm saying. We've been talking about this stuff for a long time. Quit talking about it. Just do it. Look what we're doing right now.
Right. And that's really the message, man. I mean, that's so deep. When I in my own life, I even know that there's so many big dreams, goals, and aspirations that I have. And the thing about it, the truth of the matter is that if you're not willing to put in daily work and have that sweat equity over and over and over again, develop the skills necessary and become the person that is that person eventually that you'll become to have that, whatever that have is or that place is, then it's just a goal. A goal is just more or less a source of, you're in delusion at that point, because if you're not actively working towards your goals daily and putting in that work to become the person required to achieve that goal, then it's nothing. It's blank. Goals are just nothing. They're just statements that we make up in our mind and really delusion in our heads. And now I feel that we are both in a position in our careers, obviously myself building my business in field supplements, and I see you and the changes that you've made and overcome in this last year in your music career. Talk a little bit about that transition from going from where you were a couple years ago, 3 years ago, we were just talking about this, 3 years ago to now in your music career and in your life, spiritually, emotionally, physically.
Well, 3 years ago, I thought being financially stable was my problem. And you know what I mean? I turned it into a situation where I had, all the money in the world. But the thing is I had all the money to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't have it in me to actually do it. And so, I never had an actual song recorded. I never actually pursued this. And, over the years, it broke me down, just life to the point where I couldn't even chase my dreams anymore, and I couldn't even do what I wanted. And so the fact that I had the ability and everything I needed to do before and I lost it, it literally pushed me into this whole new drive to where, like, having way less than I've ever had before having less than I had before, I'm happier now than I've ever been. And, I started putting all the money and everything I have into my music. And, it's not like when you go on SoundCloud and you listen to a song and someone's song just kind of sounds like it was recorded in a little box. It's like my whole everything has a whole vibe to it. It has production that, I've dreamed about. And so now it's just to the point where I'm getting this done no matter the cost. And, even in this COVID-19 thing, it's literally shot me down, and it's hard to stay spiritual and happy in this. But the thing is there's nothing that we can do besides literally put in work and let time go by. That's the only thing against us right now. And so, I created this mentality over the time that's basically you can manifest anything that you want, and the law of attraction, and more people need to know about that type of thing.
Absolutely. And man, it's funny is I read The Secret when I was in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
And the principles and the foundation of metaphysics and understanding vibrational frequencies, connecting yourself to source to be able to essentially acquire the Akashic records, which is you're acquiring this information from your higher self. And once you can tap into that space and you can tap into that metaphysical connection with your higher self, like you said, you literally can manifest anything and everything you want in this world. Everything. But it all comes down to the understanding that the law of attraction without action is nothing. And that's going back to when I was saying having these goals and dreams and aspirations, great, but if you're sitting on your couch playing with your ding dong, eating Cheetos, wondering why your dick's orange, then you're going to sit there and nothing ever is going to happen. But what will happen over time is if you're putting in the work, if you are creating those daily habits and skills every single day and putting in that sweat equity to be able to put yourself in that position, and all of a sudden you're going to see yourself in a year or 2 years or 3 years. All of a sudden you're going to get, quote unquote, get there, and you're going to be like, what the fuck? Damn, this actually does work.
So in this song, I say, it's time to make a change, and I can. It's time to make a change, and I am. All of us need to stand up. It's time to be the one you're ignoring. It's time to be the one. It's important. So it's time to stand up and get up and go do this shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Go be the person that you're meant to be today, not tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Stand up.
Right. So before music, let's talk about your life a little bit before music. I mean, has music been something that's been part of your life your forever, or is this something that you've gained inspiration later?
It's always been a part of my life. I started freestyling when I was like 16, walking home with my friend, and I never stopped. And it's always been like in me. Like I've always been rapping and doing all this, but I don't know. It really hit me when I was like probably like 23 or 24. I was like, yo, I have to do this no matter what. And now it's like, bro, I'm going to make this shit happen straight up.
Yeah.
Like at all costs.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, it's been incredible to see, because going back to the story about Val talking about this SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, definitely not a SoundCloud
and,
rapper.
you know, obviously there's some negative connotation that's associated with that, because anybody could be a SoundCloud rapper. If you kind of showed me the dials and how to manipulate my voice enough and be able to do some things, I could probably record a track myself.
Yeah, bro, you could be a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah,
bro.
I could be the it guy, but that's not what I want to be.
You could be Little Supplements.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the little subs. You know what I'm saying? Little sub. What's up, baby?
What's up?
I'm here to steal your girl. But what I was saying is that when Val told me and talked to me about you, you know, obviously at first, I was like, all right, yeah, everybody wants to be a singer-songwriter. Everybody thinks this and that. And then I remember hearing some of your music. And now I'm no professional artist. I'm no musician myself. But what I do know is good music, and I know and I see talent. I'm a talent seeker. And I've always been able to find and collaborate myself with people who I truly believe in at the ground roots. It's something that I've done in my business, where I've found these MMA fighters from the beginning, from in the roots, and being able to point out and say, this man's got the potential to go to the next level. And that's something where I said, man, this dude Patty, he's fucking got it, man. This dude really has it. And ever since then, I mean, I've been a huge believer of yours, and what's been even better is on a personal level that we've become great friends.
Hell yeah.
And I think the purpose of life, and this is in all genres, I think the meaning of life is doing what you love with the people that you love, and surrounding yourself with that contagious energy that's only going to lift up and inspire. And dude, you truly have been somebody in my life anytime I've been around you where I've been able to gain that type of inspiration and that energy from. And it's been incredible to see from the SoundCloud rapper days to now we're sitting here on my first podcast in my living room, and
Val's gone.
And Val's gone, man. So isn't that crazy how this all works out?
It is, dude. And like, bro, I've had crazier small world things happen, so it's like that's how you just have to know, like,
right,
it's a small world, bro.
Right.
Don't talk shit about people. Be yourself.
Right.
Be happy, bro. Manifest. Put out good energy, because energy is everything. If you put out bad energy, you're gonna get that bad energy.
Absolutely.
So
that's what people don't understand about the law of attraction, is when you have those thoughts, when you say you don't want something, the universe can't decipher the difference between that. It registers at the same. It registers the same, but just at a different vibrational level. So when you put that feeling or thought that you don't want something, guess what happens? Most of the time it happens.
That's why they say be careful what you wish for. You just might get it all.
What's your message to people out there that are, you know, in the same situation that you are in their homes? There's a lot of uncertainty. People are losing their jobs. What do you have for them that can give them some inspiration and some hope?
Stay in your house. Nah, but just don't let this shit get to you, because at the end of the day, you can't control this. At the end of the day, sitting in your house and stressing and doing all this overthinking, all this isn't going to do anything. Like, enjoy your time with your family, and you know what I mean? Like, be happy you're alive.
Right.
Don't go outside.
Right.
Wear a mask.
Yes. I think right now more than ever is a time that we come together as people and really break down what's important to us and start to really take a look into our lives, what we are doing and where that's going to take us. And I truly believe that right now is a huge eye-opener and an awakening for people that are working jobs that are replaceable. I mean, you're in a very situation right now where you are working a job and you are out of that job now because they are shut down.
Oh yeah, I'm not only out of a job, but when the stock market crashed, it literally tanked my whole account. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like, how am I going to get this music shit done? How am I going to do this or that? But at the end of the day, you just have to know that you're going to get it done, and you have to know that everything's going to be good. And that's, a general statement, but it's a real statement because at the end of the day, you have to know, and you have to think, I will.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, put that positive affirmation into your soul and into the spirit.
Yep.
and out into the universe and into the ether, because to us, I truly believe, for me, there is no opposite for me, man. I'm going to continually move forward regardless of the times, and every single economic mentor and or leader and business and professional that I've ever talked to, I've ever listened to, that's ever been part of my circle of influence, or that I've allowed to let their words and teachings and lessons dive into my subconscious mind, every single one of them has the same exact message, is that in economies of downtimes, in all of economies of downtimes, every single time that there is something like this that happens, there's a select group of individuals that take that and that ignites something within themselves. And on the opposite end of it all, they literally will transcend and have quantum breakthroughs where 2 + 2 is no longer 4, it's 2 + 2 = 16. And you're breaking through the levels of consciousness, because during this downtime is when the rest of the world is wanting to burrow and depress and live in anxiety, fear, and doubt. And if you allow yourself to live in anxiety, fear, and doubt, that's only going to manifest that same exact expectation that you're putting out into the universe. And so by taking this time right now and even just jumping on this podcast, this is probably one of the biggest wins I've created so far in 2020, because this has been sitting here on my living room floor for months now and saying, I'm going to get it to this week. I'm going to get it to this week. I'm going to get it to this week. I wrote it down and I said, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make it happen, but it's going to happen. And all of a sudden you hit me up a couple days ago and I was like, all right, let's get Patty over. You should just come over to the house. We'll shoot some content. You come over and I'm like, yeah, I got somebody coming over tonight to help me out. And you're like, well, I can probably figure it out. And here we are. It's figured out. It's rocking and rolling. And the More in the Know podcast, episode number 1, is happening. And so this is just a reminder to all of the listeners out there that if you do, you might, like myself, maybe we appear as people who are very motivated, goal-oriented, and driven, and task achievers and doers, but there are some things that maybe are on our list. I know you had mentioned maybe a few songs that you haven't completed yet. Maybe there's some things on our list that we haven't done. Now's the time more than ever to commit to doing those things.
Yeah, bro, for real. It's now or never.
I mean, who knows how long this will last?
Never say ever, actually.
Right. Who knows how long this will truly last? And the thing about it is we're all in the same boat, man. We're all in the same boat. The reason why I've created this podcast is now to have my voice on a larger scale, where people can hear not only what I have to say, but the first-class and exceptional human beings that are brought on, like yourself, that I truly believe in. And every single person that's going to be on this podcast has a message. And that's the Mogul mission. And that's my More in the Know mission, to be able to deliver this content with people like yourself that are after what they want, are fulfilling their purpose, man. And so really talk about, what that fire inside of you means, even in times like this.
I mean, the fire inside you is everything. If you let it go out, then you're nothing. So it's literally right now, keeping that fire is everything, because if I don't have that fire, I'm not going to be able to push myself forward. And right now, you know what I mean? Everyone has the same 24 hours right now.
Right.
There's people that you see on stage and you see doing what you want to do in life, and you say, fuck, they're one step ahead of me. They're doing this. They're there. They're talking to this person. They're with this person. But right now, they're in their fucking house, and you're in your house. You guys have the same 24 hours. You guys are both on social media. Like, right now is your time. There's no excuses. So it's literally now or just wait for your next fucking shot.
Right.
And, you know,
I'm a firm believer, man, that opportunities are never lost. Opportunities are gained by those who are ready and willing to make the commitment. And if you're ready and willing to make the commitment right here, right now, you can achieve these things that we have talked about. And in a time like this where there's so much uncertainty, turn off the fucking TV, man. Turn off the TV. Put positive reinforcement into your subconscious. I know it says stay 6 feet away, but, you know, maybe break the rules, bend the rules a little bit, and have somebody over to your house and that is in your circle of influence, and write a map of a plan for the rest of 2020.
Yes,
how can you adapt, change, and overcome in the situation at hand? And that's what this time is because, man, it really shows that nothing is for sure. And it's at times like this right now that we must find a way to have a business and or live a life that is recession proof. Now, let's just say fast forward 5 years from now, you have a handful of major hits. You are in a position where you want to be, and you don't have to work at Intel anymore. You don't have to do a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Music is fairly recession proof once you get to a point where it's continually played over and over. You got these record deals. And so obviously I would imagine that is something that is on your radar and that you can probably see during this time and saying, hey, you know, this might be even a little bit more motivation to even propel yourself forward in your career.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I need to take that more into account in my mental state right now.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, bro, if I would have already been on this before this happened, like right now, bro, I'd be able to take care of everyone. We'd be chilling.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, but my whole goal is farther than that. I want to take care of the world, bro. So it's like, you know what I mean? A lot of these celebrities, like, they probably are doing some stuff under the scenes, but I feel like no one's really doing shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, man. I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole in this very first podcast that we have, but I will say is that the world requires more light, and the world requires more people who are willing to be the first domino in the many of dominoes.
Yeah,
because
that's real talk.
And I mean, because it really, the thing about it is it's literally like when I talked about sobriety yesterday. I had my 1 year of sobriety, 366 days of clean and sober, clean and serene today, my man.
That's dope, bro.
And
Congrats.
Thank you. There's a message that I must tell myself each and every day is one day at a time. And the only way that you can
one step at a time.
That's right. One step at a time, man. And one day at a time. And all I can say is that it's the same thing when we are on our mission to inspire people and to change the world, is that it's just one person at a time, because that one person then inspires the next, instills that same belief and that fire and that light into the next person, and then that just goes on. It's just like one kind act, and that is the domino effect. And then I think at times like this right now, it's time to open our eyes and mind to the realities of this, and how much more caring and loving and how much more our hearts can be open and kind and empathize and sympathize with people, instead of shun, instead of live in this place of I'm not going to look at the homeless guy, or I'm not going to look at this person because I'm better than you. It's so funny now. All of a sudden, money's taken away, your jobs are taken away, and look where we're at. Everybody's the same, right?
Everyone's the same. It's crazy, bro.
There's no division in the world, and the world wants us to think that there's this division of race and class, of all these divisions. But that is driven. That is not driven by who we are at our very core. We weren't born racist at our very core and who we are as people. We don't have these things. At our core and who we are as people are loving beings of light. And we must start to embody that. Acceptance instead of allowing the media, allowing these outside forces to corrupt our brains, to condition our minds, to harden and callous our hearts. And now is the time to let go, breathe, release, and say, man, you know what, man? I fucking love you, bro. And I'm grateful for you and I appreciate you. And that is a message that we all should be sending to each and every person that is in our circle of influence, as well as people that are complete strangers, man. Just telling somebody thank you, that you appreciate them, giving them a smile, man. Tell us how far does that go? Because I know you're a huge proponent on helping the homeless. You're a huge proponent of giving care to those in need, man. So what does all that mean to you?
It means everything, bro. Like, literally saying one thing can change someone's life. Like, I've just walked up to people randomly and just had a feeling to just tell them something, and I've told them, and then I've literally watched them just break down and cry. You know what I mean? And then I've just had random people just say something to me just out of the blue, and it's like just that random person saying that random thing literally changed my whole energy and my whole, like, what I was even feeling. So it's like, tell someone you love them, bro. Tell them whatever, bro. That's going to make them happy. It doesn't even matter if you're telling them the truth or not. It really doesn't.
Right. And having that compassion and that love and that unconditional love for everybody, man, is really the message right now.
Yep.
So, I mean, that besides everything we're driven in our lives to make shit happen, besides the message to buckle down, to develop your skill set in this time, get real with yourself, get real with what you do daily, figure out what habits that you have, what habits require change, adapt, and overcome. But on top of all of that, on a less very straightforward end, now is the time more than ever to open your hearts to love. And that's what I really truly do love about your music, man, is every time I hear you know you're worth it. That's my absolute favorite song. Speaking of that, let's just chat. Let's chat about you're worth it. Where did that inspiration come from, and what's your message for the people?
So, know you're worth it just comes from being in a place where you feel like you're not even really good enough, but not only that, it comes from a place where you feel like you wish you could find that fire that you see in other people. And I say in that song, it's never over. Gotta keep going. Show them it's never over. And it is never over, no matter what. And it all loops around to that energy thing, because once you believe that energy, once you let that energy hit you, then it starts manifesting itself. And so, know you're worth it. I just want people to know their worth and know that no matter what, they can keep going and they can literally find it inside of themselves to make whatever they want happen. And, in another song, I say, every time you open your eyes, it can light the way. So all of us need to just open our eyes and know we're worth it.
That's right.
Straight up.
I love it. Straight up, bro. I mean, and that's the power of music. And that's the power of somebody who's decided to let your words inspire. Because you could be singing and rapping about a lot of different things that aren't making a difference.
Exactly.
And, speak on that topic. Speak on, I'm not inviting you to bash on a lot of the rap music and music in general lyrically, but there is a major difference between inspiring music and music that is literally poison for the mind, toxic, and delivers this message that is going against our core values. Whereas I listen to music like yours or Heaven Sent and a few of the up-and-comers that are associated in your circle of influence, and each and every single one of you guys has a very similar style in the sense of that your words and lyrics are to inspire, man. And when I hear that, I'm like, fuck yeah. That's what I like to hear about it. I'm not sitting here a gangbanger trying to do some crazy shit. But I understand a lot of that stuff's real, but a lot of the other lyrics, man, are pretty pretty lackluster in the sense where it's I don't feel that same inspiration.
Like I said, bro, I want to make music that if you could live by, it'll change your life. So it's like I only be around people that are on the same type of thing, because I meet people all the time. They're like, oh, I do music. I listen to their music. It's like some auto-tune, like weird sounding, not even weird sounding, just like the regular shit that you hear on the internet and everywhere. And those people aren't doing anything, not only for themselves but for anyone. They don't care what happens to anyone else. They're just making what they feel like making. So it's like, for example, that song Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay, like that song had every single little kid in every single classroom, every teacher doing that song, like making a whole little game about it. So it's like it really does influence the whole world, and it influences everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like we're essentially creating generations of pieces of shit with this music.
Yeah. I mean, music is so powerful and influential, and being in a position like you're in, man, it's inspiring to me, because my mission as somebody in my was if I'm in my coaching business or my supplement business, my mission is to inspire and influence in a way that's positive and a way that's uplifting.
Shit, bro, you inspire me all the time.
Hey,
every time I see your shit.
Hey, that's what this is about, man.
That's why I hit you up, bro. I was like, yo, dog, let's link, dude.
Right. If people wanted to listen to your music, where would they go?
So, this is the shitty thing. I haven't dropped any of my music yet, and I have it all in my email. It's just been a process. And now with this COVID thing, it's just making it even worse. But my music will be available on all platforms this year, I promise.
And I will say, it's fucking heat. It's heat, baby.
It's heat, baby.
It's
It'll change your life.
It's good stuff. I jam it. What's really cool is I do have a handful of friends. Shout out to Sammy Listo out in California. I have Sammy on there. I got my boy Tricker, as well as DJ Sticky Fingers. Sticky Fingers. And as well as yourself, Heaven Sent, and a handful of other of my friends that I'm part of and associated with that are good friends of mine. And it's really cool because I could literally listen to music for a couple hours straight and have it be just for my friends. It's dope. It's fucking awesome.
Super dope.
So when I'm getting ready in the morning, because I'm like, or whenever, jamming the music, I'm like, that's my fucking boy, baby. That's my guy right there. I'm like, no, you're worth it. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, I am worth it. I am worth it today and every day. And that's what I get. And if I can feel that in my heart, my soul, man, that music is going to deliver that same inspiring message to those who are going to be hearing your music.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah. It's lit.
You're the man, bro.
I love you, brother.
I love you too, bro.
I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Do you have any final words that you want to spread? You got any freestyles not to throw you on the spot? But you got any freestyles or any words of encouragement or anything to leave the people with?
Listen. The world's in trouble. I wish we could all hold hands. The government put us in a struggle so we don't understand. Make us think that all of the blood came from a different land. Make us think that all of the trouble came from a different land. It's time to change. I have a different stance. Let's all love each other, make peace, and see if we have a chance. Come together, we can be free. It's time to take a stand.
I love it.
Love each other.
That's right. Tell them I love it, and I love you, and that's gonna be
love yourself, bro.
Love yourself. You should go and love yourself.
Love yourself. Nah, bro, but yeah, straight up. This is real shit.
Yeah, real shit, bro. I do appreciate you hopping on, and that's going to conclude the very first episode, the inaugural episode of Mor-In the Know podcast, hosted by yours truly, Josh Morin, co-founder of Fueled Supplements and vice president, as well as business woke wellness coach. You can find me on all platforms at mogul_Morin, and check out my company Fueled Supplements on Instagram, as well as all other platforms at Fueled Supplements. You guys have a blessed day.
FieldSupplements.com.
Yeah.